I'm back! What's good, everyone? It's your boy Dotsu with another video for the channel. Welcome back to DMV Sports Zone, and today I'm giving my much anticipated must-see DMV reaction to the Carson Wentz trade that happened earlier this week. The middle of finals week. My last college finals week. Carson Wentz. We gave up 2 third-round picks. Although I think one of those third-round picks is going to end up being a second-round pick, right? If he plays 70% of snaps next year, which, in my opinion, is a lose-lose type of situation because you want him to play, right? You want him to meet that 70% threshold, but that's going to cough up. You're going to cough up a second-round pick because of it. But if he doesn't play, that means you're going to probably have to start Taylor Heineke or another quarterback, which we kind of don't want to happen unless he's a rookie that's already ready. We drafted number 11 overall, but I don't think they're going to do that. I don't think they're confident in this quarterback class, which I told you, and a lot of people told you, is not great. But Carson Wentz. Like many of you, I'm pissed that we struck out on Russell Wilson, the Virginia native, Richmond, Virginia native. He had his draft party in D.C., and it just speaks to, and I said this before, and I'll say it again, a lot of hometown athletes just don't want to play for their professional team in DC. They just don't, right? Whether it be Kevin Durant with the Wizards, Russell Wilson with the Commanders. If we have a hometown player play for one of these teams, we got to draft the player, or it has to be an undrafted free agent, right? A Chase Young, Ryan Zimmerman, Jared Patterson, undrafted free agent that's just looking for an opportunity. But Carson Wentz, right? Didn't go after Deshaun Watson. No, right? Legal troubles. Aaron Rodgers, it was a no. I bet you the team was at least looking into that situation. It was a no. Carson Wentz. All I can say is at least it's not Mitch Trubisky, which, if you guys haven't been on Twitter, there's a lot of talk about Mitch Trubisky coming here to DC, and I wanted to put an end to all of it. Every single tweet, I try to comment underneath and say no. As someone who watches games, no. But in all seriousness, Carson Wentz, he's a solid quarterback, right? I know the first thing many of you guys will point out is his stats: 3,500 passing yards, 27 touchdowns, 7 picks, 94.6 passer rating. Nazi, like, liven up. Like, what are you doing? 9th best QBR. One spot ahead of, funny enough, Russell Wilson last year, although obviously he had his finger injury, but one spot ahead of him. But the issue with Carson Wentz, and you guys know me, I always talk about this. I'm an eyeball test over stats guy, right? That's the reason why I've never been high on Kirk Cousins, right? On this channel, you guys have heard me talk down on him because he puts up the stats, but when it comes down to it, his film shows you something else, right? And with Carson Wentz, man, I'll admit it, he's solid. The stats show it, but even the eyeball test, he has the attributes, right? He's definitely, by far, has the best arm talent at the quarterback position that we've had since Kirk, right? Alex Smith, he has more arm talent than Alex Smith. He has more arm talent, obviously, than Taylor Heineke with his noodle arm. But I can't help point back to the last 2 games of this season for Carson Wentz. The reason, you can hear all the chatter, right, about early in the season or even before, where the Colts and Carson Wentz already started off to a rocky relationship. But it was really the end of the season that made GM Chris Ballard, Jim Irsay want to say, let's trade this guy. First order of business in the offseason, let's trade our starting quarterback that played in, I believe, every single game, if not, most of the season. He was there. And it was the end of the season, right? Because although the beginning of the season started off slow for him, the middle of the season was pretty good. It helped to have a leading rusher in the NFL in Jonathan Taylor, right? In my opinion, the second best running back in the NFL, only behind Derrick Henry, a healthy Derrick Henry, who I believe will bounce back. But it was the end of the season, 2 games. If you win 1 out of those 2 games, you make the playoffs for the Colts, right? They were 9-6, I believe, before week 17. They lost against the Raiders. Carson Wentz was a huge part of the reason why they lost. 16 for 27, 148 passing yards, 59% completion percentage, 1 touchdown. Week 18 versus the worst team in football, the Jacksonville Jaguars, with all the marbles on the line to make the playoffs, right? A team that I think going into the season we're going to make it, right? I believe that's a big reason why Hard Knocks did their in-season thing with Indianapolis Colts, because there was something special to the team. They have a Super Bowl worthy roster outside the quarterback position. Still, 17 for 29, 185 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick, 59% completion percentage. And I get it, Josh Allen and the Bills lost the Jaguars as well. I'm not going to be one of those people who are like, Carson Wentz, you can't lose to a Jacksonville Jaguars team at any point during the season. But it was the end of the season. With all the marbles on the line, nothing secure in terms of playoff opportunity. And he wet the bed. Right? This is the stretch that left a super sour taste in the Indianapolis front office, general manager, coach, even head coach, right? Frank Reich, who you can watch the Hard Knocks season, guys. He vouched for him. He vouched for Carson Wentz to come. And Carson Wentz had his best season under Frank Reich in Philadelphia. That Super Bowl winning season where, in my opinion, Carson Wentz was going to win MVP if he did not go down with a season-ending knee injury. And they wanted to get rid of him. First order of business, again, in the offseason. So I'm not one of those people who are going to be like, Carson Wentz, I like it. I love it a lot that we got Carson Wentz here. And to be fair, I don't think any of you guys are that way, right? But it just sucks because I just don't think he's going to be that permanent solution for us, right? I think he's going to be that bridge quarterback for us that's going to get us to maybe a 9-win season this year, right? Two games ahead of where we were last year, especially with the 32nd ranked schedule. I saw that earlier this week, the 32nd ranked schedule in the NFL, so the easiest. But he's not going to get you to a Super Bowl. There are very few quarterbacks who can, admittedly. But it just sucks because, again, we could have got a Russell Wilson who did not want to be here. A Derek Carr, Deshaun Watson, maybe we could have stayed in those sweepstakes. But, Carson Wentz, I think he'll do some good things. I think he'll do some good things for us. I really do. But like Pat McAfee said, who watches every single Colts game because he is a Colts fan, he's going to have those moments where you think, are we playing JV football? Like, what are we doing? Right? Everyone remembers that insanely terrible interception that Carson Wentz had last year. Just threw the ball. Sort of reminiscent to the Kyler Murray interception, right? Which I don't think is a fair comparison because Kyler Murray is a better quarterback, even though, you guys know I think he's overrated. But that's another story for another day. But the point that I really want to get to here, the biggest point, the reason why you guys see the title, the name of the title right now, this is Ron's last opportunity. He's going into season 3, guys. Right? I love Ron, man. Love him as a person. He has great character. I think the best character we have had at head coach in a long, long time. Very long time. And, he's a military guy. He's very disciplined, and you love to see that out of an NFL head coach. But we got to be honest with ourselves, guys. Back-to-back 7-win seasons. 7-9 in 2020, 7-10 2021. I know a lot of people are going to say we got to the playoffs in the first season. Okay, we did, but we were 7-9. We can't think we were better than that, right? And last year was supposed to be an improvement off the previous year in terms of our season loss record, and it wasn't. This is season 3, right? If Carson Wentz doesn't show some things, if Ron Rivera doesn't show some things, if we don't improve to at least a 9-win team, he's going to be on the hot seat, guys. He is. And you guys know, coming from me, a Ron Rivera supporter for so long, even through the tough stretches, for me, that's saying a lot. So we whiffed on Matt Stafford last offseason. Everybody, I know some people, including Pedro Smith, a good friend of the channel, will say, oh, well, the writing was on the wall. Matt Stafford, he wanted to go to LA so bad. But in my opinion, if we gave up more picks than the Rams, if we put up a better offer, he would have ended up here in DC. That's how I see things. That's how I still see things. Right? Ended up winning a Super Bowl. Big part of that. We whiffed on, we ended up not choosing a first-round quarterback last offseason, right? We could have traded up easily, in my opinion, to get Justin Fields and Mac Jones. That was a no. We instead got Jamin Davis, who had a disappointing first season, to say the least, but I think you'll have a pretty good second season. And I mentioned the guys, Deshaun Watson, Russell Wilson, and, it's season 3, right? And our quarterback is going to be Carson Wentz. Again, I'm not saying he has to be the permanent solution for us, for Ron Rivera to keep his job, but he has to show some things. Ron Rivera has to show some things. This team has to show some things for the current coaching stable here in DC to stay here in DC. That's just how I see things, guys. That's how I see things. And there's a lot more things that are coming our way. We got free agency, which I hope to give you guys a lot more content of, because I will have some free time. And we have the draft, obviously. So there's a lot more things that we have to see, right, come September. But if the roster that is there in September does not produce at least a 9-win season, again, I will say it again, Ron Rivera, you are on the hot seat. I hate to say it, but it's a fact. And that's my thoughts on the Ron Rivera, Carson Wentz, Washington Commanders situation, Washington Commanders trade that went down earlier this week. Like I said before, I should say, Carson Wentz, again, he puts up the stats. He has the arm talent, right? The best arm talent we've seen in a long, long time. But he's going to have those head-scratching moments. And the question is, where are we going to be, right? Where's that balance? Where's that balance going to be? Is it going to be more good than bad? More bad than good? A little bit of both? And we don't know. And the problem is he's a quarterback, right? The quarterback's supposed to be the most secure, more stable position on your team, at least for you to have a chance at a championship. And Carson Wentz is not that. And yeah, my fear is that he will just wet the bed, and we don't draft the quarterback, and we'll have to go back to Taylor Heineke as being our starter. And before last season, Carson Wentz was very injury prone. I think a lot of people are forgetting that in the media, elsewhere. He was very injury prone before last season, right? I would always hear of him having injuries and just not being able to finish seasons off. Last year, admittedly, again, he played the entire season, I believe, although he was nicked up here and there. But you got to consider that as well. And we're also on the books for $28 million this year. $28 million. Hopefully we restructure that, sign some guys. And in my opinion, if you're going to go with Carson Wentz as your quarterback, you should probably build around him, right? At least for this season. And when I say that, I mean our 3 biggest needs by far are wide receiver, middle linebacker, free safety, right? I think Cam Curl is going to man the strong safety spot for a guy who I'll mention a little bit later. But maybe we can draft a receiver in the first round. Maybe a Jameson Williams, Chris Olave, Garrett Wilson type, Drake London. Or a middle linebacker, maybe drop down into the first round, maybe a trade back, I should say, and get a Nakobe Dean out of Georgia, or a free safety. Those are the 3 biggest needs. But if we solve those needs, we will have a pretty good team around Carson Wentz. The issue is, though, guys, I just said this. The Colts had a Super Bowl contending team outside of Carson Wentz, and they finished off at 9-8. I'll leave it at that. But the Landon Collins news, I want to get to that as well. Sorry, guys, if I'm making this video a little long. But Landon Collins, what will his legacy be here in DC? His legacy will be very similar to Josh Norman's. We gave him big money. He was a guy that Dave Gettleman let go. And a lot of Washington fans, a lot of NFL fans thought that David Gettleman was they were stupid decisions. Like, what are you doing type of decisions. He ended up being right, funny enough, and we paid him a big contract. I believe it was $15 or $16 million per year, and he ended up being more of a linebacker for us, but he didn't even embrace that role, and I think that's ultimately what led him to being cut. On top of the fact that he was getting paid, I think, $15 million this year, right? So we saved $6.5 million on the cap, which I like. But at the end of the day, it's just sad because he was a guy that we signed in 2019. 2019 offseason, by the way, was terrible for us. Dwayne Haskins in the draft first round, and we got Landon Collins, big money free agent. It's terrible for us, and it's sad to see him go. He's only 28, right? So he should technically be in his prime. And he did play pretty well for us late last season before he was shut down with an injury. And I think he played his best ball by far, actually, for us late last season. But there were a lot of times throughout his tenure here in DC where it just did not pan out. Hate to see it. It was a guy that I wanted for us actually coming out of Bama in the second round. And yeah, so I mean, I was wrong. All the people who was hyping him up were wrong. And it is what it is. But we got to move on. We have Cam Curl. So we should always be thankful to Landon Collins for actually taking Cam Curl under his wings and really helping him out, helping him get into the swing of things when it comes to the NFL game and creating the Cam Curl, the great Cam Curl that is today. So I will always remember that as part of his legacy. But again, the biggest part, big money guy, just did not pan out. Wasn't atrocious, but did not pan out for us. And we cut bait, got some money off the cap, and we're heading into the offseason with, I think, only $12 million, $12.5 million right now in cap space, but I expect that to go up. And hopefully we get a middle linebacker like a Bobby Wagner, a receiver, Amari Cooper. I think my number one target, who I'll mention tomorrow on the live stream, is by far Marcus Williams at free safety. That would be a huge get. But yeah, that's it for my thoughts, guys. I know I sort of went all over the place, but I wanted to give you my thoughts off of the news that broke earlier this week for our Washington Commanders, and just wanted to get back to you guys. Wanted to interact with you guys after a long while. And with that being said, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe to the DMV Sports Zone channel, where we like to post fire content on here as much as possible. Also, go follow our Twitter page at DMV Sports Zone, Instagram page, all lowercase DMV Sports Zone, and our TikTok by Abdullah, DMV Sports Zone on there as well. But with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. Please make sure to, again, like, comment, subscribe. Go watch the live stream tomorrow with the Burgundy Zone, Kyle from the Burgundy Zone. It's going to be lit. And see you on the next one. Peace.